A lot of people probably think you're really the 2,000-year-old man.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't think that till last year. It all came home to me with a giant incident in Cleveland, Ohio.
What happened?
Well, I got off an airplane to go and do a television show in Cleveland, and it was very early in the morning, and I didn't feel very good, and I felt no. So I decided that I needed some quick energy, so I went to the news counter to buy a chocolate bar. This little gnome-like lady was standing behind there, and I said, please have a chocolate bar. And she looked at me, she sort of glistened, and she said, aren't you Roddy McDowall? And I thought that's pretty wild to get recognized at 9 a.m. in the morning, so I said, yeah, I am. She said, may I have your autograph? I said, yeah. And as I was signing away, I heard her say, you know, I saw every movie that your father ever made.
You know, although Roddy still makes a lot of pictures, he's always working. He spends a lot of his time taking photographs. He's one of the most respected photographers in the country. And he's got a new book out, just published, called Double Exposure. Got great reviews, I'm glad, too. It's a good book.
Well, thank you, Andy. I'm very grateful that it's being received well because a great deal of work and time went into it. And at inception, it didn't seem that it could be accomplished at all because the concept was rather peculiar. It all came about through the generosity, really, of about 200 people who contributed to the volume. I got the idea because one of the most fascinating things that I've ever seen is to be at work and to listen to people of high caliber in their artistry talk about other performers whom they admire.
Oh, yeah, that is fun.
And it thrills me. It's very, very exciting. And sometimes very strange combinations. For instance, Sir John Gielgud, I discovered, was an enormous fan of Ethel Merman's.
Is that right?
Yeah, he wrote her a fan letter. He'd never met her. And I thought that was wonderful, and I asked him if he would write for this book about Ethel Merman, which he did, and Joan Sutherland about Lena Horne, and Sammy Davis about Richard Burton, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And all these very generous people contributed to the volume.
You know, Roddy is a real professional photographer, and when he's not making a movie, he goes anywhere on photographic assignments for magazines. And I love the things you've got in here. This is really
There's one incident in the book that is sort of dear because it took place with Ed Wynn. He was a marvelous man. And I had the deep honor of working with him a couple of times. And we were at the Arizona desert making the greatest story ever told. And he used to sit around and reminisce, which was quite something, seeing he'd been working all those years.
Yeah.
And he told me a story, the other people at the dinner table one night, of an incident that happened some 40 years ago in Vincennes, Indiana, when he was appearing there. He was going to work to check the box office because he also produced the show. And as he was going into the theater, he noticed a little paper boy. And he said, what are you doing out so late? And the kid explained to him that he had to sell all his papers because this was this very famous comedian who was appearing in town here, and he wanted to go see him because he was going to be a comedian when he grew up. So Ed said, well, I'll buy all your papers. And he said, I know the people connected with the show. I'll get you a ticket. Only if you agree to come back and see the star, Ed Wynn, after the show. So the kid agreed, sure. He went to see the show. He went backstage, but he didn't recognize Ed as being the man on the street because of all the makeup.
Yeah.
So then dissolved now some 30 years or more. And Ed Wynn had been in semi-retirement and was asked to do his first dramatic television show, which was Requiem for a Heavyweight. And he started rehearsal, and he got very nervous, and he felt that he couldn't do it. He lost his heart completely. And Keenan, his son, went to this little boy, now grown up, and talked to him, and that little boy, now grown up, went and talked to Ed. And by his own confession, he gave Ed Wynn the courage to go ahead, do that performance, and enjoy another decade as a very, very important dramatic actor. And that little boy's name was Red Skelton.
Really?
Yeah. So Ed wrote that, and that's the picture I took to go with the
story. There's one here that I really like, Buster Keaton. He's a favorite of mine.
Well, Buster Keaton is about my favorite performer in the world. I just adored him. And I was lucky enough to have known him from the time I was young, not terribly well, but I used to get to see him. And early last year, before he died, I went to Woodland Hills and took this picture of him, which is interesting in the sense that when I was going around the house in the bathroom, I noticed on the wall another photograph. And I asked him what it was and asked him to pose with it when I discovered that the photograph that Buster Keaton is holding in that picture is Buster Keaton at 5 years old when he first appeared in vaudeville, 60 years before the complete photograph was taken.
Oh, that's wild. That really is. Did you have any trouble getting stars to pose for these pictures?
No, I've met with the most extraordinary cooperation from everyone. I'm really terribly, terribly grateful. No other difficulty than any one of us who has to be performed out of has to be photographed out of context. It's a little difficult.
It is hard. Well, we've seen some of the pictures of the, a couple guys, but you've taken some great pictures of some of the most important women in the theater and in movies. So why don't you show some of those?
Well, I'd be delighted to.
Oh,
Thank you very much. The first one is Lauren Bacall.
Oh, yes.
Extraordinary, beautiful lady. Katharine Hepburn writes about her in the book. Natalie Wood. This photograph was initially taken for the paperback of Inside Daisy Clover.
She looks so cute.
Lena Horne, a guest of yours many times, right?
Yes. Oh, she's a great looking girl.
Myrna Loy is one of the most enchanting and noble people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. Kay Kendall. Lee Remick. Jane Fonda. Beatrice Lilly. Giulietta Messina. Marian Anderson. Elizabeth Taylor. This picture was taken during the making of Cleopatra. Jennifer Jones. Barbara Streisand. And Julie Andrews.
Love that picture. Roddy, I hope you'll come back again and visit us and bring your camera with you, and maybe you can take some, or will take some pictures of me, free, of course.
Cool, I'd love to. How do you want them? On a bearskin or on a pony?
A pony. I think I catch cold very quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, Roddy McDowall.